Well, hey, you're here. You've made it. Hurrah! And where is here, you may ask? Did I leave him in a raft with the windows rolled up on this sunny day? Good question. This is, of course, the MindGriller Server. Did I hide him in a place where no one ever goes? And I'm Gravity? Yeah, well, and the most observant among you will notice that I appear to be here without my best friend Cow. Now, maybe I put him in the pantry with my cupcakes. And how has this state of affairs come to pass, you may ask? Well, I'm quite fond of a compound run-on sentence in the form of a query. That is also a good question. Now, did I think it was most important that I hide him from the kids? And I'm trying very hard to think of a good answer. But before I do, now I've been trying to learn / grok what the freak this guy is so sore about. Now, I will say that I am not one to name anything and everything which appears not to be nailed down in the Minecraft world. And as the cleverest among you will have already noticed, I have in fact never asked the faithful viewers of this channel, and that means both of you, to name a pet mob with the sole aim of boosting comment rates and thus self-servingly boost the popularity of said GravityFiller episodes. No, and nay. No, seriously, I would never. Yuck. Blech. Anywho, this guy, who I will call, but definitely not bash on the head with a name tag, Mr. Robinson. And I snatched that right out of thin air. Will wonders never cease? He has a bee in his big yellow bonnet in strict regard to something, such that I do mean to call attention to, if I may, his manic asocial disposition, and I can't seem to look away from all this hemming and hawing and pounding I don't know what into some random composter. It is definitely a sign of I don't know what, perhaps a betrayal. Inquiring minds want to know. Nevertheless, nonetheless, although and even though, it doesn't appear that anything's gonna get him to stop this, whatever it is he thinks he's doing. He seems quite guarded. It's not like I'd like to know a little bit more about him for my files. But I don't have time for this. I think I'll just let him stroll around the grounds until he feels at home, if you know what I mean. Well, no, it is possible that I could help him learn to help himself. I was imagining he could tell me something about the mansion house which once stood here on the bluff. Well, now perhaps Palisades is a more precise term. I wish Cow was here. He has quite sympathetic eyes. Foreshadowing? Now, before I am led down the stony path to a luxurious psychiatric facility run by sympathetic but stern nuns in whitish habits, I will tell you that at once, Cow got the hiccups. And the other kind of hiccups. And between said hicks and said ups, he managed to whisper in my ear something which sounded like, "Preserve your memories, they're all that's left you." Well, either that or he was regurgitating a blue Skittles from his reticulum to his awesome and back. Anywho. Now, as the most faithful viewers among you will know, we have not fiddled with fire tick on the server. No. It is possible that this place burned down to a lightning strike. Therefore, I was hoping this guy could do something other than him and haw and huh. But alas, nay. Now, inasmuch as I would like to, I can't dilly-dally here all day. I have things to do. I will tell you if I may, and I don't see why not, that my to-do list is bursting at the seams. Tight as obsequious politician sardines in an oily, rusty roll-top tin, packed tighter than a clown car of Alaska lookalikes. Bulging like a 2-month-old viral pygmy hippo residing at the Calco Open Zoo in Thailand in a pink crinoline tutu. Anywho, before I go on, and I can, let us take stock of ourselves vis-a-vis the world around us and our limited time on this planet, reincarnation notwithstanding. Now, let us imagine we are grounded, we are successful. We are not in a manic state mouthing random words like a geriatric two-faced politician. What would Dagobert do? Nay. I meant to say, what would Moding do? It's easy to conflate the two in my mind, such that it is. And now, what to make of this redstone? I see 2 buttons and a repeater and some redstone and a minecart. Look. Hey, now, this button seems to both launch the minecart and to quickly flip the direction of the rails, such that the minecart goes back to the bluff or to the right. And click. And I do enjoy a breezy ride in a minecart along a semi-abandoned bluff. Whoosh, and now we're inside. Now, hey, that was quite a short ride, but we're back here again. Look. Okay, first things first, I know, shall we say, a special bovine someone, namely my best friend Cow, whose separation anxiety is like at his final tap 11, due at no time and by no means by the hands of yours truly. Oddly, a word with no E in it. Now, the most observant viewers among you will have noticed that the minecart tracks continued on in the other direction. And as you plural, hope springs eternal, may know, I am certainly not one to leave a minecart journey half ridden. Wow, here we go. This feels like a Rocky Mountain construction manufactured iBox hybrid roller coaster wherein the original wooden track was removed, followed by a partial modification of support structures and the installation of new steel track with added elements like inversions, which was completed sometime in our recent past. Just a random thought. Now that's interesting. The speeding fast minecart stopped and I was ejected from it in front of some rickety stone stairs. You don't have to hit me over the head with a finely tailored hint. Hey now, more flooding. What's going on? And up here? Hey look! A huge flying piston sugarcane farm. Now, this is quite an undertaking, and I'm quite afraid of creepers living in there. I'm not sure where we are, but we're somewhere underneath the dark forest. And what was this over here? Hey, look! Now that appears to be quite a long and creepy tunnel. Redstone built with stone blocks. That's quite something. And dual minecart tracks. I imagine they collect all the sugarcane. Hey, that's quite nice. And back. Now what's over here in this sort of flooded room? It's one of those guys again. They're giving me the heebie-jeebies. Speaking of the heebie-jeebies of which I just spoke, this dark rat-infested tunnel is also giving me something which I hope doesn't turn into the hiccups. I just remembered that I don't remember where I last set my spawn. And maybe, just maybe, this place would seem a little less filled with alienation and delusionment and aimlessness and forced conformity and meaningless searches for meaning if it was no longer the dead of night. Now, I would suggest that one not make a habit of setting one's spawn in the beds of random unseen strangers. I mean to say, skin-borne illnesses are something to be avoided. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite because of the skill-borne illnesses and stuff.
Go.
good morning. Do you ever have dreams you can't remember? I have them all the time. Even when I was young, I didn't remember my dreams. I don't know why that is. Now, where am I and what am I doing here? I remember I was on my way back to Cow when I saw this bed. And this hole in the ground. Hey, look, wow. Now, I'm not going down there. No, and nay, nay, nay. If I may return to the topic of which I was speaking, I was attempting to make my way back to Cow when I got detoured by making what I thought was a teeny tiny detour. Freaking slime box. Now, I wonder what the Minecraft dev meeting was like when someone said, what we need is a block that is both sticky and bouncy. Where was I? Oh, and then I saw a sugarcane farm, and then a flying piston machine. And another one of those big scary guys. Parenthetically, there seems to be a huge variety and frequency of big guys staring at me when I'm trying to sleep. Just saying. Definitely not foreshadowing. Now, where do these stairs lead to? What? Hey, I'm back in the hotel. Now, if I may take a moment of personal privilege, hey, look, do you see what I see? There, I believe amongst those tall jungle trees is where I began my spooky minecart ride under the intricately maintained, sprawlingly lush grounds. And now a quick hostile mob check. I believe Walt Whitman was the first to coin the phrase, creepers be creepin'. This is such a luxurious hey, well now, either that is a very cute bee or the fattest mosquito I've ever laid eyes upon. You, dear one, whatever you are not allowed indoors. No, and nay, nay, nay. Now, immediately he's off to do something mildly indescribable to some random flower. And he poured in the storm, which is definitely not a reference to the film The Graduate, directed by Mike Nichols and released in 1967. There's a lesson there for someone or other which has nothing to do with the dangers of chlorinated backyard swimming pool water supplied indirectly to Beverly Hills by reservoirs maintained by the Metropolitan Water District. Perhaps this lesson has something to do with themes of confinement, escape, loneliness, and transformation. If you catch my drift upon an inflatable pool raft and a cheeky smash edit, which I am not allowed to describe on this channel. Hey Cow, you're here! I've made it! Hurrah! You, my friend, are looking in fine spirits. Alas, but if I may say so, I will acknowledge that your hide is looking a bit pruned. Perhaps you spent quite a spell in the unchlorinated spa waters of our humbly modest space. Did you miss Cow? I miss Cow. How I've missed you. Let me count the ways. And what's his name? He's still among us. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, well, there are some guys who never seem to just vanish. Cow, did I ever tell you that once I went to a Kiss concert when I was just a wee child, and there's been a ringing in my ears ever since. I think it began about 17 seconds into Beth, and it's continued ever since. I'm just saying that Gene Simmons is just as annoying as that goat is, and neither of them are ever going to cower away from our collective conscience. Screams, cod pieces, salacious tongues, fire breathing, and all. With that being said, and seeing that Cow and I are now reunited, and it feels so good, we're reunited, and it's understood that, spoiler, the villainess, dressed in wild feline patterns, situated in a den which resembles a jungle, and a freaking gray stripe in her hair is Mrs. Robinson. Spoiler alert, anyone? Sadly, and perhaps appearing as a non sequitur for the uninitiated by an older predator among us, it's time for us to say our goodbyes. Goodbye, so long, see you later. I'm going back to Cali. Hey, y'all, I don't think so. Tot ziens, tot zo.